Hello friends, for today's video I wanted to go through some series that I would like to start this year as well as series I would like to complete. There will be a total of 10 series discussed. 5 of the ones are the ones that I want to complete, 5 of them being the ones I want to start. We'll go ahead and start with the ones that I would like to start this year. There are a number of self-pub series that I would like to finally get going with because I have been really loving a lot of the self-published works that I have picked up over the last few years, and a lot of the conversations that we have about trends, things that we don't enjoy seeing, or all of the ways in which we feel like fantasy is getting stuck. A lot of times, a lot of people's solutions to try and ease some of those frustrations, we end up pointing to self-pub as the answer. I myself have often been like, hey, if you don't love this stuff, these self-pub authors over here are doing great things. And I've seen a lot of other bookstagrammers or other people on BookTube doing something similar, and I think it speaks to just how much a lot of self-published authors are contributing to the genre in really meaningful ways. As such, I want to ensure that I kind of remind myself to prioritize the self-pub works by having them on this list today. I will probably revisit this list sometime around the middle of the year, do a check-in and see how I'm doing with it. I would love to know, by the way, what are your self-pub fantasy book recommendations? They can either be ones that you think I would like because you know my taste pretty well, or you know other self-pub fantasy I've picked up that I've enjoyed, or they can be books that you just feel like are great that aren't talked about enough. But jumping into the ones that I would like to start. So we have 3 different self-pub series that I would like to start this year. One of them would be Ranger of the Titan Wilds. I was told that this was kind of a tiny bit like Horizon Zero Dawn, and I was like, okay, say no more. Because like a lot of you, I don't want to know too much before I go into something, and that was enough to sell me. Horizon Zero Dawn, if you don't know, is a video game, and I remember years ago, I remember vividly when Horizon Zero Dawn was first coming onto the scene and there were trailers for it. I remember walking into GameStop right down the street from my apartment at the time and seeing on the screen in the GameStop an ad for it, and I was like, what? It's a lady fighting giant robot dinosaurs. What is this? And then I was like, it kind of looks fun though. And then when I tried it out, I greatly enjoyed it. So the idea of a book that might even have an inkling of a similarity to Horizon Zero Dawn is something that I'm definitely intrigued by. After that, we have The Drowned Kingdom. This story, I was told, has such a despicable but compelling main character. And I don't know necessarily if it's going to feel similar to some of the characters in Age of Madness. I don't know if it's going to feel somewhat similar to some of the characters from the Gale Song series by Shauna Wallace. I'm not sure exactly the kind of despicable main character we're going to be getting. And I also don't know, does that mean we're leaning really hard into grimdark? Am I actually going to be like, oh no, this character, I just really hate them so much, I can't handle it? Or am I going to love how much I hate them or be so fascinated by them? Is it going to be one of those situations? I don't know, but it was a good sell, and it was a good contrast to Ranger of the Titan Wilds versus this one, and I'm very intrigued to see how it plays out. And also I've heard there's a lot of political intrigue, and I'm a big sucker for political intrigue. The other one would be the Fate-marked epic. This series, I'm pretty sure there's a number of books in this series, and then if I'm not mistaken, I actually think this author and Ranger of the Titan Wilds have possibly written a lot of works, and my hope is that if I really like this one, then I have this huge backlist of books to get excited about. I know that's my situation with the Echo Saga, and I know there are a lot of other self-pub authors. Ryan, I feel so bad, I never know how to say the last name, Cahill, I think. I know they have a lot of works, and a lot of people have sung their praises basically endlessly, and that's not officially on the list today, only because I don't have a physical copy. These 3 I happen to have the first books for, because I thought I want to take a chance on these, and quite a while ago I went ahead and picked them up. So I don't have the Ryan Cahill ones, but I don't know, maybe they need to be like honorary entries on this list. If you have read a lot of his works, where would you recommend starting? And then, completely separate from self-pub fantasy, we have 2 series that are incredibly popular, and that would be Dungeon Crawler Carl, as well as the Sun Eater series. And the reason I'm suddenly taking on this weird tone of voice is because I don't think I'm gonna like these, and I want to when I go into these, completely give them a fair shot. There have been plenty of times that I've picked something up and I thought, I don't think I'm going to like this. And then I end up really liking it. And I'm hopeful that that's what's going to happen with both of these. But I'm not sure. Dungeon Crawler Carl. So I don't know if I'm going to like the vibe. I have a friend of mine who actually had tried Sun Eater and he was like, I didn't like Sun Eater. And then he tried Dungeon Crawler Carl and he's like, it's so fun. But I wouldn't say his tastes typically are represented by those two basically sentences I just gave of his experience with these two series. Like, he reads a wide range of different works, and it was almost surprising that he was liking Dungeon Crawler Carl so much given a lot of his other tastes. And I've seen that happen for a lot of people that say, I didn't think I'd really like it, but it really worked for me. I've seen that happen a lot of times. Here is my very dumb reason why I don't think it's going to work for me. Sure, I'm not sure if the humor is going to work. I'll say that right off the bat here. But more than that, you would think I would really, really, really like LitRPG. I was just talking about the thing that kind of sold me on piquing my interest for Ranger of the Titan Wilds was the fact that somebody basically comped Horizon Zero Dawn. But when I pick up a book, I don't know that I want to feel like I would rather just be playing a video game when I'm reading the book. A lot of you know I'm a huge gamer. I love video games. It is like my ultimate, just when I don't want to, I can just get lost in it. Aside from, well, actually I have a lot of hobbies I can get lost in. I love drawing, I love reading, I love playing my violin. Ugh, there's so many things that just take up so much time. I don't have enough time for everything. But video games, it's just so fun. I love video games. Even the games that I'm angry at and I want to throw my controller through the screen, even those, I'm just like, but it's so fun. And I fear that when I pick up Dungeon Crawler Carl, all the video game stuff, I'm just gonna be like, I would rather go play video games. That's my fear. And I know it's stupid. And I've had other people say, I also am a big gamer and I liked Dungeon Crawler Carl. So everybody has pretty much said that even if they were in a similar camp to me about various things that I'm worried about with the series, everybody pretty much, it feels like, has come away being like, but I ended up really liking it. And I'm hopeful that's what's going to happen for me, but I just don't know. And I guess I'm almost prepping everybody who loves these series. Don't get too excited that I'm going to start Dungeon Crawler Carl at some point this year. Don't get too excited because I might not like it. I don't know. I just really don't know if I'm going to like it. Let me know if you're like, this is really, you're a goofball. It's going to be fine. You're going to enjoy the story. You know, feel free to be like, hey, it's fine. Or if you didn't like it, you can be like, I don't know if you're going to like it. I don't know. Either way, I'm still going to give it a try at some point. I've also, I think, heard that the audiobook is great, so let me know if I should try the audiobook for this one. I probably will anyway. Sun Eater, I know next to nothing about. I know a lot of people have really loved it, and that it's a sci-fi epic, but aside from that, I really don't know too much about it. I don't know the synopsis, I don't know the writing style, I don't know anything about the characters. I have managed to not hear basically any specifics about that series, but yet, even still, I'm just fearful that I'm not going to be as into it as a lot of other people. I don't know why I have this impression, but it comes across as a series, to borrow a phrase that my husband uses a lot. I fear it's going to come across like a series that's a little high on its own fumes. Like, it's a little self-serious, and I can absolutely get behind serious themes being explored. And I'm not saying if it's not funny, I don't want to read it. I'm not saying anything like that, but it just feels as though maybe I have a dumb impression of this for no reason whatsoever, and I can't seem to shake why I have this impression of it. I don't know where it's come from. I really don't know where it's come. I don't know why I have this feeling about this series. But I'm really hopeful that I will pick it up and I'll be like, this is fantastic. What was I on? That's my hope for Sun Eater. But similar to Dungeon Crawler Carl, I'm just kind of giving you the heads up now to not get too excited. I really hope that I'm wrong. I'm really hopeful that I'm wrong. I also want to be really clear that I'm by no means trying to be like, all these other basic people really like it, but I don't think I'm going to like these mainstream popular series. I'm not trying to say that either, because there's plenty of popular stuff that I really like. Sorry, I just dropped my chapstick. I don't know what it is, but I've said that so many times already. So let's switch to the series that I'm planning planting. I'm still getting over being sick, and apparently I can't talk. Planning to finish this year in 2026. Hence it being this year. Duh, that's the year it is. Here are the series I'm planning to complete. First up, the Gale Song series by Shauna Lawless. This will not be a problem. It is the only thing I wanted to read. After I finished the first book, I was like, I just want to keep reading this series. I like it so much. And I plan to finish that series and then finally jump into Daughter of the Otherworld by the same author. After that, we have Shadow of the Leviathan. So we officially have not only a title for the third book, but a projected release date for this series for that third book. And I think the third book is the final book in the series. And the projected release date, I think, is just August, which is not that far away. And that's really, really exciting because I feel like the way everything has been set up within the first two books is going to make for a really exciting conclusion. Fingers crossed. I'm really excited about this one. After that, we have Fallen Gods by Hannah Kaner. I kind of can't believe I didn't finish the series in 2025, and I don't think it'll be too difficult to pick this one up because I have enjoyed the first two books in this series. I also am excited to see whatever this author ends up writing next, but I quite liked the first installment. The second installment, I liked it as well, but just some of the way in which plots were separate made it so that it wasn't as compelling as I think the first one was for me, but basically I think the second book had a little bit of middle book syndrome, but I am excited to see how everything wraps up. And I know this is going to sound absolutely ridiculous, but have you ever had a book that you were so certain you're like, well, I'll definitely get around to this one, and because you had that mindset, you kept not prioritizing it and not picking it up, and then you realize, oh, I guess I didn't pick it up this year. That's what happened with this book. I was like, I will definitely read this, so I'll get to it when I get to it. And then I just didn't pick it up. I don't know if that makes any sense. Next, another one that I am ashamed that I didn't finish would be Winter Night. I have been meaning to finish this series for so long, and I didn't do it. And I think I'll probably get around to it, I'm hopeful anyway, very soon, because I really, I kind of want to start it today. I should be done with this series pretty soon. I just have the one book left. And also I should elaborate. If The Shadow of the Leviathan is just one more book, then I just have one more book left to read because I've read the first two. Fallen Gods, I would just have one book. Winter Night, I would just have one book. Gale Song would be two. I read the first one and reviewed it in 2025, so that one would be a little bit more. The last one, the War Art Saga, I had read the first one around when it came out. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I definitely felt like it went under a lot of people's radars. It was quite underhyped, but if you're looking for just like a fun, exciting, action-packed fantasy story, I definitely think that this has this, and it has a fun subversion of a trope that a lot of us see quite often, so I thought that was great as well. But regardless, the first book came out, and then when the second one came out, it was one of those series where I thought, I'm going to wait until the third one, and then I'll read through the rest, rather than, oh, I know this has happened for a lot of us. It's happened with Shadow of the Leviathan. You pick up a first book, and then you have to wait, because you picked it up around when it came out, and then you pick up the second book, and then you have to wait, because you picked it up around when it came out, and you keep having to wait. You kind of just want to be able to fly through it, and I want to do that with the War Arts Saga now that the second and third books are out. I might reread the first book, just because some of the details are a little hazy, so this one might be an entire reread for me for the first, and then continuing on into the second and third. But regardless, this seems like a really fun one to pick up around the summer, just because it is so explosive and action-packed and fun. But that's it for 5 series that I plan to complete, as well as 5 series that I plan to start. As I said at the beginning, if you have some self-pub recommendations, feel free to leave those. If you have recommendations in general, just feel free, of course, always to leave those. I have a whole list of screenshots I've taken of your recommendations, so as much as possible, I'll try to get around to those when I can. And then let me know how dumb I'm being about Dungeon Crawler Carl and Sun Eater. Or maybe I'm not being dumb. I don't know. I am. I know I'm being dumb. And you can make fun of me for it. It's fine. But those are the series that I wanted to mention today. Thanks so much for watching, though. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Bye.